right, hey guys, welcome back to the show. It's Tuesday today, so we're gonna continue with just strategy. No, this is not the correct position. Okay, sorry. This is the incorrect position. How do we fix this one? There we go. So this is black to move. Okay, black to play, and we're gonna start the clock. 20 minutes. All right. I'm gonna set up this position on the board. All right. A very cute triangle. Hello. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining me. I came fourth in that tournament. Congratulations. A very cute triangle. Congratulations. Nice. Hopefully this show is like helping you to become better in chess as it's helping me, hopefully. All right. It looks like White's attack. Man, it looks scary for Black to play this kind of position, especially if you have a knight fianchettoed instead of a bishop. But this is what we have, what we what position we have, so we gotta try to defend it with all our might. So the first question is, does White have a threat? What is white's threat? F5. Push the pawn here. Oh yeah, maybe, yeah. I think that's white's threat. It's legit. It's after F5. If I take, then push pawn. Then the bishop is going to be pinned, because otherwise rook is going to get the queen on F6. So yeah, F5 is a legit threat. And then if I take with the knight, or even bishop F5. Yeah. F5, bishop takes F5, then bishop takes F5. You cannot take with a pawn because it's pinned. The queen is going to get the queen. Queen takes queen. This pawn is pinned. Cannot go retake the bishop. If knight takes F5, knight takes F5, then bishop takes F5. Bishop takes bishop, then rook F takes bishop. So F5 is a legit threat. So we gotta figure out how to. Yeah, that's pretty scary. F5 is a scary move. So I think we have to block it. We have to do something about it. Maybe play bishop F5. Yeah, that's my first thought. Otherwise, that F5 is gonna go. That F pawn is gonna go push pawn, then pawn takes pawn. Opens up this F file. Yep. Okay. I mean, what else can we say about this position aside from white's crushing move, pushing the F pawn? What else can we do? What else can we say? And if you look at Jacob Augard's 3 questions in his popular series of books, I think those are the Grandmaster Preparation. He asked 4 questions, 3 questions when you're playing, when you have a chess position. Those are what are the weaknesses, which is the worst piece, and what is your opponent's plan. So let's say here, what is white's worst piece? I think white's worst piece is this e2 knight, because it's not on the attack right away, but it's kind of passive. For black, we can say that black's light squared bishop, it's by definition, and it's bad because it has the same color as its pawns, especially the central pawns. But it is active because it controls this important F5 square where white is threatening to play. And maybe this knight on G7 is not supposed to be there, but for defensive purposes, it's again controlling that important F5 square, and I think E6 too. Unfortunately, our pawn, black, already pushed the pawn on G6, which created the weakness on F6, the square, and F6 and H6. So yeah. what what is your what are the weaknesses here? And from based on the last video that I did the stream, the author of this book, the Swedish Grandmaster Axel Smith, stated that a weakness can only be called a weakness if you can attack it. So maybe you can attack this a2 pawn with the queen b2, but I think it's a bad idea because the attack is on the king side, it's not on the queen side. But I guess you can attack that one. But the problem is, for example, black plays queen to b2, then maybe white just pushes the pawn. So now this pawn is defended properly on a4. So let's see, what else? What else can we attack as black? It's called excuse me. Yeah, it's crazy weather here in Phoenix. Even though it doesn't snow compared to, let's say, St. Louis, Missouri in Midwest, still pretty cold, and it's giving me that runny nose. Let's see. So what are the weaknesses? I don't think. I don't think white has significant weaknesses. I mean, black has a lot of weakness, like here on a6, so we can pawn because there's no pawn that can control the h6 square. That's a weakness. Weak square. And an f6 square too, but the black's queen is there, so it's fine for now. But as you can see, white's queen is already on f6 because it's a weak square. It can be attacked, or white already placed its queen there. Okay, what is your opponent's plan? What is yeah? We already know that. White's plan, our opponent is trying to play f5. You gotta figure out how to stop that. So okay, we were able to answer those 4 questions. How many minutes do we have? So we have 7 more minutes. Alright. I think I would play, if I were black, I would play bishop f5. One of the general principles when you're under attack is you want to exchange pieces, because the less pieces your opponent have, the less pieces your opponent can use to checkmate you. So I'd play bishop f5. But is that the best move? Bishop f5. Does white have any tricks? Yeah, bishop f5 looks very good. The point is after bishop f5, let's see one of the point, bishop takes bishop, knight takes bishop, threatening to take the h6 queen. So queen has to move somewhere. I think the only I mean, queen can go here. It can also go to h3. If queen goes, let's say, to h5, then it's not really threatening anything. Maybe rook takes f5 here. So I don't know the point of putting the queen on h5. But let's say bishop f5, then knight takes bishop, attacking the queen. So queen goes to h3. Then I think I can move my rook. Just put my rook on that open e file. And for example, if white wants to exchange the knights, then what can we do? Should we exchange it? I think in principle we should exchange it. Yeah, I think black will be okay after bishop f5, because if, like, for example, exchange the knight, queen takes, then probably rook e2. Maybe I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh man. Oh yeah. Now I get it. Okay. So for example, bishop f5, bishop knight, knight takes bishop, queen h3, knight d4, or rook f e8. For example, white wants to exchange, knight takes g3, queen takes g3. Trying to figure out how to prevent white from playing f5. I was thinking like queen d4 check. Then king here, king h1. Or it's not even queen d4. I think I would play queen d6 just to prevent white from playing f5. Anyway, we'll see. I think time. Oops. It's time. Okay, it's time up. Time's up. All right, we're gonna look at the solution now. All right. Let's see. All right. Okay. All right. BRB. Be right back. Alright, let's look at the solution now. So quote, the central theme when evaluating a position with many imbalances is, it is important to try to find out which of them is the most important. The central themes, this is often where strong players prevail over the weaker ones. Since experience and intuition give an intuitive answer, and if the answer comes intuitively, there is no need to use the concept of central theme at all. Nevertheless, it is possible to figure it out. It is impossible and too theoretical to order the imbalances from 1 to 9. Here's the rougher list: king safety, material development, initiative, central control, space, piece placement, control over key squares, and pawn structure. However, even though the king safety is the most important balance, a slightly safer king does not have any impact at all if the opponent has a huge lead in material. What you have to do is check the different imbalances in order of importance and ask yourself if it can be enough to win a game. If the answer is yes, there is a great chance that you have found the central theme. I will again illustrate with a position from the game against Stefan Christensen. And with black to move, white is trying to attack black's king, and the attack is clearly a central theme. On the other hand, pieces on the king side will be clumsy if the attack stagnates. It may be enough to win, hence piece placement is another central theme. In this game, black managed to neutralize white's attack. Okay, let's start at the beginning of the game. So it's a Berlin. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so boom, boom, bishop f5. All right, black to move. Yeah, okay. Bishop f5 is the main move. Bishop takes, knight takes, queen h3. Okay, e8, queen d3. Okay, so queen d3. I'm just wondering. I'm gonna turn on the computer. What happens after, let's say, knight g3? I mean, it's if it's white to play. Rook here, rook f8, then knight g3. Of course, it's a bad idea. Okay, queen d4 check, queen d4 check. Knight takes g3. Let's say queen takes g3 because he wants to go f5. Queen takes d2, f5. Then queen to e2, threatening checkmate. Okay, then queen f4. Maybe white has this nasty f6. Then maneuver the queen to g7, rook e4. Okay, so, and the queen cannot leave the rook on f1. So okay, so knight takes g3. Then it's not even knight takes g3. It's queen d4 check and capture. It's the best move. All right, I'm gonna turn off the chess engine now. So queen h3, rook a8, 5. Queen d3, rook e4, knight takes, c3, h6, queen f5, takes. Okay. Takes, rook f6, push pawn. Rook is gonna go there on e3. Check. King's gonna get that pawn. Now it's time to queen. And also this one too. Because now the pawn is gonna queen, so rook goes there. Quote, after the tournament if their tournament, Vladimir, I appreciated the concept of critical positions. However, I have also heard the secret of the Soviet chess school can be captured by the phrase, if you need to do something, do it. It is a truism. It is truism, but useful if it is interpreted like this. Look for a central theme and try to do whatever you can to make the impact of that imbalance as big as possible. If the pawn structure is clearly better, but you have the possibilities to create an attack on the king, you should not care about the pawns, but make all the possible efforts to attack the king. Playing according to central theme sometimes requires immediate dynamic play. Dynamic play is temporary. Like dynamic, you have to act, you have to move fast. And other times, slow, static play. Some of the imbalances are categorized either dynamic or static. I agree. Like development, initiative, material, but most are not. To have a better king is temporary advantage, but it was permanent, aka static advantage in the game. Tim and Anderson from first chapter. You have to use your reasoning ability when you decide which tempo to strive for. The take-home message is to lean back and ask what is most important. Many players play too complicated fashion and forget about simple things such as development and piece placement. The auxiliary questions, the list of the auxiliary questions below covers the topics of the first three chapters: pawn levers, piece exchanges, and critical positions. It is especially useful to ask questions when it is the opponent's move, with less need for concrete calculations. There is time to make positional considerations. I know I am repeating myself, but once again, if a strong move appears intuitively, there's nothing wrong playing it. To force you to use the auxiliary questions is too time consuming, yes, and would also mean to your old good friend your intuition. But the questions are useful. If you cannot find a plan or if you cannot choose between several different moves, as you will quickly find out, some questions suit certain kind of positions. Is this critical position? The position is critical when you have to take a decision that is difficult and cannot be taken back, such as in the case of pawn levers, piece exchangers, and tactics. Okay, so that's a critical position. If you have to do something that you cannot take it back, critical position. So are they any pawn levers? Pawn levers are often foundation of plan and decide on which squares to place the pieces. The question should be asked for both for yourself and your opponent: which imbalances are there? Possible imbalances: king safety, material development, initiative, central control, space, piece placement, control over key squares, and pawn structure. Are there any weaknesses to attack? A weak pawn, a weak square, a weak king, yeah. Similar to Jacob Ogard's three questions that you need to ask when you're looking at a position. Which pieces do you want to exchange? Take both of your and your opponent's pieces into account. Which is the worst piece? Hey, which is the worst piece? What is the most important? Which tempo should you strive for? Compare and evaluate findings from questions 1 to 3. What seems to be the central theme of the position? Is your plan to consolidate, take prophylactic measures against the opponent's plan, or should you play actively before opponent has achieved coordination? The last strategy should be used if the imbalances in your favor are of a temporary nature. Which candidate moves should be considered? Which move feels intuitively positionally correct? Look for candidate moves and make a short blunder check in the end. Wow, it's a lot. In the list of auxiliary questions, the positional factors, questions 2 to 4, form the strategy. Question 5, which is implemented with the help of universal game theory. Questions 1 and 6. The candidate moves will be thoroughly examined in the next chapter. However, there is some specific advice I can offer about positional candidate moves. It is not possible to prove it, but I think that the inner logic of chess makes positionally intuitive moves work tactically more often than it looks at first sight. Hence, it is worth spending extra time looking for supporting tactics. It is also a good idea to start calculating this move, since it has the eye's aims. If it works, there's no need to examine other moves carefully, which would save time. When you play a move, it is important to know the evaluation of the upcoming position. That's very important. After you play a move, you gotta make your own, your personal evaluation. You only need to know if it is better than the other candidate moves. The evaluations you make when you choose between plans and moves are therefore not absolute, but only compared against each other. If a move is clearly best, you should play it no matter if it is winning or drawing. I think that if you have such an attitude, you will after some time get used to taking decisions when comparing moves. It will and less event and often happen than you think. It will and less often happen that you think that two difficult moves or plans are of equal value, but instead consider the continuation, you choose the best. All right, so I mean, it's a handful. Hope you guys learn something today, and I'll see you guys on the next show. Bye.